Many middle-class households earn reasonable incomes. They pay their bills, they save occasionally, they may even invest. And yet, years pass without significant financial progress. The issue is rarely effort. More often, the issue is structural financial traps, patterns that quietly absorb income before it has the chance to build wealth. These traps don't usually feel dangerous in the moment. They feel normal. They feel like the way most people live. But over time, they create a situation where income rises, yet financial freedom remains distant. In this video, we're going to walk through the most common financial traps that middle-class households fall into, and more importantly, how to recognize and avoid them, while still maintaining a balanced and sustainable lifestyle. The lifestyle inflation trap. One of the most common financial patterns appears after income increases. A raise arrives, a promotion happens, or a career transition leads to higher earnings, and gradually spending expands to match the new income. Economists refer to this pattern as lifestyle inflation. Instead of financial margin increasing, the lifestyle simply becomes more expensive. Research from the Consumer Expenditure Survey conducted by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that household spending tends to rise significantly as income grows, particularly in categories like housing, vehicles, and discretionary services. The result is subtle. Income improves, but the ability to accumulate wealth barely changes. Example: the lifestyle upgrade cycle. Imagine someone who receives a salary increase from $70,000 to $90,000. Initially, the extra income feels substantial, but within a year, several changes appear. A slightly nicer apartment, a newer car lease, more frequent travel. Individually, none of these decisions are unreasonable, but collectively, they absorb most of the income increase, and the financial structure remains nearly identical to before. The hidden subscription economy. Another trap has emerged more recently: the subscription economy. Streaming services, cloud storage, software tools, premium memberships. Each one appears inexpensive on its own, but together they form a recurring financial layer. A study conducted by C+R Research found that the average consumer estimates spending around $86 per month on subscriptions, while the actual average spending was closer to $219 per month. That difference highlights something important. Many recurring expenses become financially invisible over time. Aggregated spending behavior. Consider a household with several small subscriptions: $15 streaming service, $12 music platform, $25 cloud storage plan, $20 fitness app, $18 premium news subscription. Individually, they feel insignificant, but together they represent $90 each month. Over a year, that becomes more than $1,000. This doesn't necessarily mean all subscriptions should disappear, but awareness often leads to better prioritization. Housing expansion trap. Housing is usually the largest financial commitment most households make. Because of that, small percentage differences have large financial consequences. Financial planners often recommend keeping housing costs near 25 to 30% of gross income. But in many areas, households stretch toward 35 to 40%. The difference may not feel dramatic monthly, yet over time it significantly reduces the ability to save or invest. Housing decisions often shape the entire financial system around them. Comparison behavior. Sometimes housing upgrades occur not because of necessity, but comparison. A colleague buys a larger home, a friend moves to a new development. Gradually, expectations shift. Suddenly, the previous home feels temporary or insufficient. This isn't unusual. Human spending decisions are heavily influenced by social comparison, even when income levels differ significantly. Warning: the social pressure trap. Social comparison is one of the most underestimated financial forces. When people evaluate their financial success, they often compare themselves to peers rather than long-term goals. But peers may be financing their lifestyle with debt or saving far less than expected. Matching someone else's visible lifestyle can quietly undermine long-term financial stability. The result is a pattern where income rises, yet financial freedom moves further away. The car upgrade cycle. Vehicles represent another common middle-class financial trap. Cars depreciate quickly. According to data from Edmunds, new vehicles can lose roughly 20 to 30% of their value within the first year. Despite this, many households upgrade vehicles frequently. Lease cycles every 3 years, trade-ins every few years. Each upgrade resets the depreciation cycle. Timeline progression example. Imagine someone replacing their car every 4 years with a $35,000 vehicle. Over 20 years, that could mean purchasing 5 vehicles. Even without considering interest or financing costs, the total spending exceeds $175,000. In contrast, driving a reliable car for longer periods dramatically changes the financial outcome.
The discipline myth. Many financial discussions focus heavily on discipline, but discipline alone rarely creates lasting financial systems. People get busy, unexpected expenses appear, motivation fluctuates. Financial systems tend to work better when they rely on automation rather than willpower. Automatic savings transfers, automatic investment contributions, predefined spending limits. Systems remove many decisions from daily life. Research on automatic saving. A well-known study from Harvard economist Richard Thaler and Shlomo Benartzi, often referred to as the Save More Tomorrow program, demonstrated how automatic enrollment in retirement savings dramatically increased participation. In some cases, retirement contribution rates increased from around 3.5% to more than 13% over several years. The key insight was simple. When systems guide behavior, participation rises naturally. The burnout trap. There is another financial trap that appears in the opposite direction. Instead of spending too much, some people push themselves aggressively toward wealth building. Multiple side hustles, constant productivity, little recovery time. Initially, income increases, but eventually fatigue appears. Financial progress that sacrifices personal well-being often becomes difficult to sustain long-term. Balancing wealth and lifestyle. Long-term financial success usually comes from balance rather than intensity. Stable career growth, consistent investing, controlled spending, adequate rest and personal time. Financial independence is not only about numbers, it is also about building a life that remains sustainable over decades. The passive income misconception. Another common trap involves misunderstandings about passive income. Many online discussions present passive income as effortless. In reality, most passive income streams require significant initial effort. Rental properties require management. Online businesses require maintenance. Investment portfolios require patience and time. Passive income tends to become meaningful after systems are built. Aggregated investment behavior. Consider someone investing $300 per month into a diversified portfolio earning around 7% annually. Over 25 years, that could grow to roughly $240,000, not because of dramatic investment decisions, but because consistent contributions allow compound growth to work over time. The margin principle. A helpful financial concept is margin. Margin is simply the difference between income and spending. The larger the margin, the more flexibility exists. It allows saving, investing, absorbing emergencies, pursuing opportunities. Without margin, even a high income can feel financially fragile. A whiteboard visualization. Imagine a simple financial diagram. 3 lines: income, spending, margin. Most financial traps shrink the margin: lifestyle inflation, housing expansion, frequent car upgrades, subscription creep. Avoiding these traps gradually widens the margin. Group behavior insight. Studies examining wealth accumulation often reveal something surprising. Wealth growth rarely comes from one perfect financial decision. Instead, it comes from many small structural advantages working together over time. Lower fixed expenses, consistent investing, long-term thinking, moderate lifestyle choices. Over decades, these differences compound dramatically. The long-term perspective. Financial independence rarely arrives through dramatic moves. It typically appears through quiet consistency, spending slightly less than you earn, investing regularly, avoiding major financial traps, allowing time to compound those decisions. Sustainable wealth building. Sustainable wealth building doesn't require extreme sacrifice. It requires intentional structure, a lifestyle that fits comfortably within income, investment systems that run automatically, and priorities that support both financial progress and personal well-being. Many middle-class financial struggles do not come from lack of income. They come from invisible structural traps: lifestyle inflation, subscription creep, housing expansion, frequent asset upgrades, social comparison. Avoiding these traps doesn't require radical change. Often it requires awareness and small structural adjustments, because over time, those adjustments widen the margin between income and spending, and that margin is where wealth quietly begins to grow. Financial independence rarely arrives through dramatic moves. It grows from consistent decisions made over many years. So, if your financial progress feels slower than expected, the solution may not be working harder. Sometimes the real opportunity is simply this: identify the traps and redesign the system. Because once the structure improves, financial progress tends to follow naturally. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing to the channel. Each week we break down the financial habits, systems, and decisions that shape long-term wealth. And if you'd like to continue learning, the next video on your screen explores another hidden financial pattern that could be quietly affecting your money.